So looks like the next song is Breaking the Silence. And I have I guess he's looking for Mary on this song.
Well, you got the Electric Requiem, which is like the little snippet. So that's kind of giving you the little bit more of the story there, which bleeds into Breaking the Silence.
Yeah, like I said, it's the guitar work. The guitar work's there. I mean, it's all over the whole album. I mean, I know that's a snippet of it, but yeah, you hear. I mean, you hear constantly as soon as the first song starts till clear up till the end.
Yeah,
how good the. But as far as and I guess we're a little over halfway through, so I guess by now, if you've listened to the album and you've really jumped into this album, I guess you've got a moral of the idea of the story figured out, and
yeah,
now we're just like into the story.
Yeah, and now we're getting into where you're seeing he's kind of getting a little crazy in the head. He's got all this shit going on. With the heroin use and then the killing the people and and having supposedly trying to kill somebody he didn't want to, that he was falling for, and so you're kind of getting that story building up where his head's starting to just lose it. He's kind of getting a little crazy up there. So like, can't you hear me scream?
I was trying to look up how many copies of Mindcrime were sold.
It was, let's see,
I couldn't find it.
I thought it went platinum. Let's see. I thought I had it printed out where it showed that on here.
I don't know.
Especially like Mindcrime versus Empire.
Now I have where it peaked as number 50 on the charts. But I mean, I don't have. Yeah, here it is, certified platinum.
Yeah, I don't. I think you had to go to get double platinum. You had to double the numbers. I don't think it ever reached.
Yeah, I mean it's probably well over 1 million.
Double, but yeah, I don't see it.
Curious. I tried to look it up here just a second ago, but I couldn't find it on Google.
I could probably.
I mean, I got off Wikipedia, so I'm pretty sure it's accurate.
Yeah, it's got to be 100% accurate.
So I'm looking at the ratings, the professional ratings tab on the Wikipedia page, and where all of the folks are doing like 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, until you get down to Rolling Stone Album Guide, and they rated it a 3 out of 5.
What?
And that just there is what's there in case you need it. And one more time, just come on.
Well, it's like Rolling Stone. You can't go by them. I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, some of the guys that get in, but it shouldn't. Judas Priest should be entering the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before this year.
All right,
Mike. Absolutely.
So, Mike, it shows that Empire is 3 times platinum.
Really?
3 million copies. That's just the United States. That says United Kingdom, which is shocking, 60,000. And Canada had 100,000.
So they're an American band. So they were the most successful in America.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it doesn't show like European stuff. So I'm sure for European sales, it was probably high as well. But this is only showing Canada, UK, and United States. So,
well, and this goes back to what Mike Carsey was saying earlier about that's why they played this album live, because Silent City did take them to another level, a 3-time platinum level.
Yeah.
Because Jet City Woman and Empire were good songs, but at the end of the day, Silent City is Queensryche.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was just guessing when I said that, but I would think that's why.
I was kind of baiting you when I asked that question because that's exactly what was on my mind. Is they've got enough popularity that they're going, hey, this is way better. We need to make sure people hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
Well, now you're playing a longer show also, so you got to
Yeah.
have more songs. So why not do the whole album? Because it's that we feel it's that great. You know, I heard
Right.
people complaining. I've heard people complain that Wasp is playing 4 songs off the Crimson Idol, and that album did nothing. But to him, you know, that's his masterpiece, and he
Oh,
wants people to know that, you know, this is a great. I think this is a great album. You need to give this album a shot, even
Yeah.
though it didn't do nothing. So that's probably the way Queensryche looked at it.
Right. Like you said, also, you know, when they were headlining on this, you know, Silent Lucidity and Empire, you know, a lot of people will go to see them just to see them sing those songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else are you going to play for an hour and 45 minutes? You can't play Silent Lucidity 25 times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
MTV
why not
did.
throw this in there? Something that'll introduce them to some new stuff, not to mention an incredible show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I think that Silent Lucidity is a great song, but I would rather not hear that live. There's plenty of other good stuff that I would rather hear live than that song. But
yeah.
I'm one of how many hundreds of thousands of people that are going to go see them, and you know, I'm that one that probably doesn't want to hear that song when there's plenty others that do. So, you know, I don't mind if they play it, but you know, that's not what I want to hear live.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I would
but-
rather see him play this whole. Yeah, I'd rather see him play the Mindcrime album than anything. I'd love to watch him play that from cover, you know, beginning to end again. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think even with it kind of stinks that it's, you know, Jeff Tate's just doing, you know, his thing, and because I hate when bands break up like that. But I still probably wouldn't mind hearing Tate do the whole album, even if it's just him. I mean, because I'll never get the lineup that we got with Live Crime, so that would probably be the next best thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that he could at least do a majority of that. I mean, be able to hit everything and, you know, do it well enough. I mean, even if he had to sing it a little different style to be able to get the notes or whatever, but yeah, that would be cool to see.
All right, so we're at I Don't Believe in Love, it looks like.
Yeah.
And I guess what I got out of this song was Mary really loves him, but he don't believe in love. I mean, he don't believe that all that's really happening.
Right.
Is that what y'all got out of it?
That was my interpretation. That's my interpretation of it.
Well, I mean, you got where he's kind of going a little bit batshit crazy. He's been killing people, you know, and then he was asked to kill the one that he did love, you know, and then, you know, she ends up, you know, killing herself, but he doesn't know for sure or whatever what happened to her, and he's not sure if he did it, you know, and so I'm sure in his head, you know, he was like, you know, I don't, you know, it's kind of deterring him away from having feelings towards people anymore, you know, and it's kind of like, you know, it's just me, you know, I don't want to deal with other people anymore, you know, kind of a thing, you know. I don't want to fall in love, you know, it's not healthy or whatever, you know. That's kind of how I pulled it.
Oh, so there's like, so Mike McKay's saying that there's Jeff, I guess, with his band doing Operation Mindcrime and Empire, and he said both of them are really good. So Tate must still be on his A game, you know, if he's singing both them albums full albums. I know he sounded incredible when we saw him.
Yeah, and I remember when we got a bunch of those bootleg videos and stuff, and I may still have somewhere down here in the basement, but it seems like I had remember getting a few of those Queensryche legs, and I remember seeing a majority of them and just other clips that I had seen, over YouTube and whatnot, but seeing some clips where he was like on point, and then you would get like one show where he was like not the best, he had some sour notes, maybe he was feeling sick or whatever. You don't know the story behind each show, but I did see a couple sour shows where his vocal performance was not near as good as what he had at other places, but overall, you're bound to have, one or two shitty shows here and there. It's not everybody's not going to have a perfect show every single night. So, that's the big, expected, but yeah, we got a good show. So I'm not complaining by any means.
And in those days, not everybody could sneak a video recorder into a show. And today we all carry them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got what you got.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about how hard it would have been to shove one of those camcorders down your pants and walk in there.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like they were small.
No. I mean, you look at what Greg Keister was carrying around on all those videos we got, all the parties and whatnot. He had that massive, throw it on your shoulder, and, I had one later down the road. Mine was still fairly big, but, it was a little easier, I guess, to conceal, but I never took it into any of the concerts. But you had battery life, so I don't know how they was able to record a whole show on, on the batteries weren't, the best back then. So you were doing good if you got a good half hour of solid recording, but somehow
that was high tech for the time though.
Yeah.
And like you said, today, everybody carries one in. You're allowed to carry them in.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You're not going to go in there without your phone.
No.
Yeah.
And in those days, I mean, to your point, they had to be big because a stinking VHS tape was inside them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't fit one of those inside my phone.
Yeah.
And I thought of a roommate that Hop may or may not have had for years and years and years, that I remember him walking out of Applebee's sounding like a china cabinet. And he just had the capacity with his ability to pick his own glassware and whatnot, that he could have snuck in stuff, couldn't he?
Yeah.
He carried everybody's video camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did have. With pride.
With pride.
And it looks like you want to go string, you want to jump looks like we got waiting for 22, just a guitar medley. That's
I
wrote down
thing there. And then we bleed over into My Empty Room, which is not a very big song, lengthly wise anyway. That's rolling in at about a minute and a half.
And I guess it explains more about Mary. Is that what everybody got out of that?
Yeah. He's saying My Empty Room, and I guess he's kind of like, realizing that she is gone and she's not around anymore. And so you kind of still getting like feeling that, stuff that he's got rolling around in his head there. So then that leads us into the last song of the album.
The best song on the album, I think.
And that's where it takes.
This is probably my favorite song on this album.
Jason Bourne, because he starts to remember everything.
Oh yeah. You are right. I mean, that's because that's the last word I remember now, and it's like everything just came back to him, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So like he's sitting in I guess the hospital room, and he's getting these memories that are kind of coming back, and starting to get a somewhat of an idea of what he's done, and thinking back and slowly getting these memories, I guess. And I'm sure like when you're on a heroin run for God knows how long, I mean, I don't know exactly if you get like an idea of like a timeline of like how long the story, or what length of time the story took place.
I'm sure I got anything like that out of this, but I know some of these I know like we did that first concept album review, I swerved off I turned off the wrong road early in that one, and they Love and String had to get me back on board. They'd come pick me up because I got
We were
lost.
still on. Oh, you're over here on this dirt road that leads to God knows.
But I did, and I think that happened on this one. There was something that I completely missed out on. Mary, I just thought she had, just disappeared. I thought she just took off, and I didn't even process it that she had killed herself or somebody else had killed her. I just figured she had ran off. So that I took the wrong road somewhere.
You went to Woolly Swamp.
Yeah. I did get back out because I did get back on track just a couple songs later. So
yeah, you didn't get as far off course on this one then.
No, the other one was awful.
Hop, I've heard if you ever go down the Woolly Swamp, you better not go at night.
That's what I hear. That's what the man said. But
I like the way it ends. How it goes through the song, and then at the very end it's like revolution, and then like you said, the very last words of the song was like I remember now.
Yeah, that was the
perfect.
perfect.
I thought it was cool. Oh, yeah, it's perfect. Like we said, I think it's just from beginning to end, it's just a total musical masterpiece in my mind, in my opinion, and it is definitely probably one of the top 5 albums ever made. In to me,
I was going to say, I didn't think the line in the chorus, and I raise my head and stare into the eyes of a stranger. So he's looking at himself in the mirror. He doesn't know who he is, what he's done. Right. He's trying to learn these things. And I've always known that the mirror never lies. People always turn away. So they know the bad things that they have possibly done, and they'll turn away because they don't want to see that, and it's it's a pretty powerful line there. It's just, I just thought that was a badass line there in the song, and it can hit on a lot of ways for a lot of different people, but there's a lot of truth in the way that hits.
Oh yeah. He doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah.
String, I'm going to jump off. Did you just do a Randy Hartman and balled up and throw it?
No, I just stacked them and put them in a nice little pile here, and then put them right here.
I mean, you're baiting me, Hop. I want to ask other questions. I did it in the private chat. I'm leaving it be, but you're baiting me.
Here. There you go.
So back to what probably drove them doing this album live. Do you think without Silent Lucidity, Mike, you would have? Do you think the masses of people that think this is amazing, all the different people that rated one of the top metal albums and so on, do you think that would have ever gotten to be that way without Silent Lucidity?
I agree with
you. Yeah, I agree. I do too.
I think the true music fans are going to see through. There's too many people that rely on somebody to tell them what they want, but in the heavier music side of things, they're true music fans, and they're going to know what it is, and it may not be on everybody's radar, but a majority, I think the masses are still there. They're going to hear it, and they're going to know it, and they're going to see what a great album it is. Whether if Empire never came about and they never had that breakthrough, ballady song, Silent Lucidity, I think this album would have still ended up the same on a lot of. It may have taken a little bit longer, but I think it's still a great album that it would have been.
I'm not questioning the value of it. I'm saying would it have gotten the fame? And I don't think it would have.
I think it would have.
I think I'm going with Wes on this one. I think I just know how people are weird about stuff, man. And it's like, we see it all the time. And it's
Can
like,
you see what that is?
Yeah.
You want me to show you another one? Hold on.
We see them all. We see examples of that all the time. It's like, what would happen if this didn't happen or this didn't happen? Like Guns N' Roses, prime example.
Right there.
Yeah.
I can't tell what that one is. What is that one?
Asphalt Ballet.
Oh.
But look at Guns N' Roses. I mean, Sweet Child of Mine was kind of a last ditch effort. And if it wouldn't have been for Sweet Child of Mine, I mean, who knows if they would have become one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, I think it may have taken 15 more years for it to become, that popular or whatever. I think in the end, it still would have had that solid fame. It just might have taken a lot longer to get to it, but.
Now, I know that, like y'all said, when you talk to somebody like a true metal fan, they will tell you this is a great album. I mean, we see that over and hear that over and over again.
Well, I was getting ready to say that. How many people that are familiar that know this album, how many of them have ever looked at you and said, nah, it's okay?
That's right.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows this album's like, they say this is a great album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and gosh, guys, don't hear me wrong in saying this. I'm just making the point that got them visibility for this record.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It didn't hurt it. It definitely didn't hurt it none.
So, I mean, again, so Mike, we talked earlier and I mentioned Alter Bridge. It's amazing how many people I talk to today, they say, yeah, I know about Creed. Well, have you heard him with a good singer and good guitar work? They're called Alter Bridge now. No, I've never heard of that. And it's not like they're new. Creed had, 3 studio albums? Alter Bridge has almost 10.
Yeah. But they're huge in Europe. And it's like, I don't understand.
Yeah. And again, I'm not questioning the talent. I'm saying if it didn't get to the masses, I just don't know.
Well, you think about it. How many albums have you listened to more recently that you didn't know about back then that are probably some of your more favorite albums now? Now, like I said, you get over a certain length of time, it's probably not going to be popular as quickly. But I think it will hold its own and appeal to the masses. But it, like I said, it may have taken 15 years or 20 years to get to that, that status or whatever. But
all I'm saying is I'm thankful for Silent Lucidity for that reason. Not because I like the song, but because it got him visible. Because I might not have. I'm young. I'm enough younger than you guys. I may have not been. I don't know if I'd have heard it.
Well, but the good thing was you hung around with us.
Somebody had to buy my beer.
we would have forced it on you at some point in time. So,
and that's what it was.
If I could bring a metal fan on board, it don't matter how I do it, as long as it's done. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you think about all the stuff that we've gotten into. We hear some of it on the radio, and then we introduce it to somebody else, and then somebody else hears something, and they introduce it to us. How many albums did you never heard of got introduced to you by a friend, or somebody you talk to about music? Hey, have you ever heard? How many times have we been to these concerts, and we're just randomly talking to people in the crowd, and we're just starting to talk about this or that, and and then all of a sudden, hey, have you ever heard about this band? No, never heard of them. You go check out this song or check out that album or whatever, when you go home and you listen to it, it's like, wow, like that was awesome, and it's everywhere, and it's like, you never know where you're going to find out about whatever band. It's just, random places you're going to hear about it. And there it is.
That's the same way this show works. I mean, we get introduced to so much stuff, and we've got family now. I consider all our fans family, the people that come on here all the time. And, this is how we all met,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really what I think every genre of music has that family, but I think the heavier side of the music industry, the hard rock, the heavy metal stuff, I think you see a tighter bond, fan to fan more so than you do at maybe a country show or whatever. But and how many times have we been to concerts and, we'd start talking to people and it's like, you kind of get that little bond, you find something and you hit on it. And then it's like, oh man, like, you just want to sit there and talk to them for hours, and it's just feeling, and that's what I enjoy about, all this music that, we're into.
Yeah.
So I told Hop last week at the Kick Show, I felt like I was one of the youngest people in the crowd, and it was so stinking cool.
Yeah.
Because how many people were there? Not just a bunch of metalheads, but it was a bunch of middle-aged professional metalheads at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun to see that, to say,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Because to your point, Chris, it brings us all together.
Yeah.
And that show was kind of different than some of the other kick shows we've been to. Even at the same venue, Hopper and I've been there, and we've seen a lot younger crowd show up, and then still have the whole age group thing, from teenagers up through our age and older, 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, that crowd was a little different. It was more mid to late age range there, but still, it's cool when you go to a show expecting to see a certain age group, and then you're seeing like kids showing up, and then you got people under 70s and upwards of 80s going to shows still. That's what pulls on the old music heartstrings there, when you see in that diverse of a crowd, in groups too, that they're still going out and having a good time and wanting to see the live show. And
well, me and Mike can prove that you can still do it in your 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd been up in second row of a Ginger show and in the mosh pit.
Much respect.
So to that end, there's a kid in the gym. I think he's about 26 years old that I've gotten to know a little bit. He works at JMU and blah, 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 blah. And he's talking about this music and that. And another fellow that's, I think, 56 or 57, I've gotten to know at the gym. We're talking to him, and both of us have turned him on to Queensryche. So much like many, he's like, oh, yeah, Silent Lucidity and Just City Woman, they're great. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting them. They're good. But there. And he put it on his little thing, his phone or whatever he was playing in the gym the other day, and he's like, oh my gosh. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what you love to hear, because you're like, you already know it's great. You're just like spreading the word.
And my son at 28 years old, a couple weeks ago, I was telling him about some different stuff, some of the ones that we've talked to, and he's like, yeah, new music just doesn't have any solos. And I said, time out, Matt. You're listening to the wrong new music, because there's some stinking good stuff. And Hey Dallas Dwight, my son's hooked on LA Maybe now because of that. Hey Blacktop Mojo, he's hooked on them because of that. So,
well, and I've started seeing a lot of that more so in you had that era where it was kind of like nobody put it in their songs, but now you're seeing this uprising and all these young bands that are playing, the stuff that, that they got in because of their parents, probably got them into it, the old thrash stuff, and old hair metal stuff. And they're going back, and you hear a lot of these younger kids, throwing these great solos in and look at, like you said, LA Maybe and all these other, bands that are coming up in the scene. And what do they all share? They're all got the solos back in there, and that's what we loved about that music back then. Every song had a solo in it, some longer than others, some greater than others, but, you always had one. You could always rely that you can hear solos in whatever song you heard.